Hey everybody! So in this video, I'm going to be talking with you guys a little bit about our story and a little bit about one specific kind of trauma that we dealt with. This was something that we all discussed beforehand, and it was agreed upon that this was okay for me to talk about. Understand that I will not be going into specific gory details of the trauma itself, partly because that would be incredibly unpleasant for all of us, and partly because much of it was not directly experienced by me, so it's not my place to talk about that in detail. So, let's get started. So, the reason that I'm doing this is after seeing so many others like Multiplicity and me talking about the kind of trauma that they faced and being able to stand up and say, me too, we felt like it was time for us to be able to say, us too. So, from the ages of 3 to the age of 11, we experienced ongoing sexual abuse at the hands of multiple different people. We were given to these people by our father, who also was one of the people who perpetrated against us when we were older, and I personally experienced some of the sexual abuse at his hands. And we also witnessed others being abused in such a fashion, and it was honestly incredibly traumatic for all of us. It's something that to this day I have trouble talking about in detail in therapy, and it's horrible. It's horrible that these things happen all the time. And it's horrible that it happened to us. Our very first experience of severe trauma, the one in which I came to exist in our system, was an act of sexual abuse by someone who knew our father and who he traded us to in order to gain access to victims of his preferred age. And it was honestly so horrible that I don't have much of the memory of that event at all. I can remember before the trauma began, and I can remember after it ended, but our most traumatized system member is the one who keeps the memory of the actual trauma itself because it was really bad. So bad, in fact, that she suffered a psychotic break, and one that she's still currently suffering from. And it was honestly, it was terrible. And over the years, we were traded away to lots of other people, some of them men, some of them women, and we were made to do terrible, awful things that we didn't want to do. And it messed us up. It caused more and more splits over time, and it was an experience that no one should ever have to go through, whether they're an adult or a child or a teenager. No one should ever have to experience that. And what added to it was the fact that many of these people used religion as an excuse for their actions, as a way to say it was okay. It was a very cult-like group that all practiced the same religion, and believed that what they were doing was somehow acceptable on the basis of their beliefs. It was not a good way to grow up. But we all felt like it was time to be able to stand up and say, us too. We were the victims of sexual assault and sexual abuse. We were the victims of rape from a very young age. And it was honestly, for us, some of the worst of any of the abuse that we endured. And as I said, I'm not going to go into specific details, but we wanted to do this so that other people out there know you're not alone. And we want to let all of you know, if you have been a victim of inappropriate actions from another person, whether that is inappropriate touching, sexual assault, sexual abuse, rape, sexual harassment, any kind of inappropriate sexual behavior toward you, it is not your fault. There are still those of us who have trouble understanding that we are not to blame for what happened. And it has taken me a very long time to fully accept that it's not my fault that these things happened. And so I want to spread this message far and wide. You are not responsible for the actions of another person. If someone else chooses to hurt you, it is not your fault. You did nothing wrong. You did not make them hurt you. You did not provoke them to hurt you. It's not your fault. And on that note, I also wanted to say that for anybody who is still struggling in a situation where they are being abused, and this includes in marriage and relationships, because just because you're in a marriage or a relationship does not mean it's okay. Please seek help. You can look to rain.org, which we will link below, for resources on getting the help that you need and to help you to recover from the traumatic experiences you've been through. And it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to hurt and to be sad. It's okay to be angry. And whatever you feel, it is valid. Just remember, it's not your fault. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be loved, and your body belongs to you, and no one ever has the right to touch it in any way that you're not okay with. And also, for all of you out there, remember that just because someone has chosen to victimize you, and just because you were a victim, does not mean that has to define the rest of your life. With therapy and healing of whatever type is the best for you and the healthiest for you, you can get to a place where you can have a good, happy, healthy life. So I hope all of you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good day, everybody.